Hi everyone, Florio here, and welcome to my channel. I'm planning on regularly streaming some of my favorite games like Pokemon, Monster Hunter, and I have a few other fun surprises in store as well. With that said, I wanted to have at least one video on my page before I started streaming, so today we're going to be talking about my favorite shiny Pokemon in my collection and the stories behind them. I've been shiny hunting for almost 5 years now, mostly in Pokemon Let's Go, Pokemon Go, and X and Y. My favorite thing about it is how every shiny has a unique backstory, whether it's about good luck, bad luck, or something unexpected that happened while hunting it. With that said, let's go over my top 10 favorite shinies in my collection. Starting off the video, we have Raticate. Now I know what you're thinking, Raticate isn't exactly the most impressive shiny for this video, but actually this is my first and only full odd shiny Pokemon. Now, what makes this even more impressive is that I found this during a Nuzlocke playthrough. Without getting too deep into how Nuzlockes work exactly, basically, you're only allowed to catch one Pokemon per route. Now, you're allowed to skip duplicates, like I did right here with this Rattata. In the old games, there was random encounters, but in Let's Go, there isn't. So what I did is closed my eyes and ran around in circles to try to kind of simulate what it was like in the old games when you didn't know what you're going to get. And the funny thing is, I didn't even see this Raticate over here. I actually opened my eyes for the very first time right then, saw a shiny, and boy was I surprised. So that's Raticate. Well, it's not the coolest shiny. I'm pretty sure there's not too many people out there that can say they ran into a shiny in Let's Go with their eyes closed. Coming in at number 9 is Sableye. Now Sableye was my first shiny Pokemon in Pokemon Go that I got during the very first Halloween event as well. Now I had struck out previously hunting Magikarp, more on that later, so when I saw the opportunity to hunt the newest shiny, I went all out, staying up way too late, walking way too much, pretty much ignoring all my obligations in order to find this shiny, and did eventually get it. It was super fun. Immediately go to post it online and find out that they had just released Shiny Duskull, which I did eventually get, but I thought I was going to be able to take a break, and then of course, as soon as I got this new shiny, I had to go out there and hunt again. But that's how the game works, and that's just why shiny hunting is so much fun, especially in Pokemon Go, where you do have to walk about and go to new areas. So overall, really happy to get Sableye. Really cool looking shiny too. Have you ever caught a shiny and immediately traded it to someone else? That's the story behind my number 3 favorite shiny, Jigglypuff. Now Jigglypuff I feel is a really underrated shiny. I love how it subtly changes just in the eye color mostly, from blue to green. Anyways, the Let's Go games came out around the same time as my girlfriend's birthday, so I thought it'd be really cool to hunt her favorite Pokemon as a shiny I could give to her as a gift, on top of the other things I owed her as well. It actually took me a pretty long time to find it. I didn't end up getting it on her birthday. And the funny thing was, it ended up being too high level for her to actually use in most battles, as you can see by some of the footage I recorded over here. She did eventually get the badges in order to use it, but every couple or so levels that would go up, she would have to go on and get a new badge without being able to use Jigglypuff. So I thought that was a little bit funny. But once again, Jigglypuff, really great looking shiny, and pretty cool story as well. At number 4, we have Lapras. Lapras is a Pokemon a lot of people have been shiny hunting in the Let's Go games, but I got mine in X and Y. For those of you that don't know, in the previous games you had to battle the Pokemon before you're able to catch them. Now for shiny hunting that usually isn't a problem. The issue I ran into with Lapras is it actually knows a move called Perish Song. The way that works is once it uses the move, you have 3 turns to catch that shiny, otherwise not only is it going to kill your Pokemon automatically, but the Pokemon itself faints too. So what happened is it used Perish Song, caught me completely by surprise, and I pretty much panicked. My first turn, I tried to put it to sleep with a low accuracy attack and missed. My second turn, I figured I would just hit it as hard as I could and try to take it down to low health. Didn't really work, so I decided to Master Ball on the last turn. Hey, better than losing a shiny. Coming in at number 6, we have Mawile. Now, Mawile's a pretty cool shiny. As you can tell by Sableye and some of the other shinies I've gotten in Pokemon Go, definitely like to target the ones that do get Mega Evolutions, which is a category that Mawile falls into. And there's a really funny story behind Mawile as well. As you can see, Anaheim, California. Now, I caught this thing at Disneyland. I was actually waiting in line for the Cars ride. Here's a silly little video from that. And basically what happened was I saw a level 2 egg. While I was waiting in line, thought that I would be on the ride long before the egg actually hatched, and it just kind of slowed down. Against my better judgment, I did do the raid, and I really wanted to finish it and catch them a while before the ride actually started, but I was just a split second too short. And I turned to my girlfriend and said, now that we're on the ride and I'm totally using my phone when I shouldn't be, wouldn't it be funny if I got a shiny? And of course, looked down, and yep, it was shiny. Pretty funny story, pretty cool shiny. At number 6 is Riolu. Riolu was caught in X and Y using my favorite shiny hunting method, radar training. Radar training can be a little bit complicated to explain, but the simple explanation is it's a mini game where the grass will shake and you try to memorize how intense the grass was shaking. When you run into the patch, if it's something you want to hunt, you go ahead and feint that Pokemon, and then when you end the encounter, the grass will shake again. You want to find a patch that's shaking the same as the first one you ran into, and if you're lucky, you'll see a Riolu again. Now, you repeat this process 40 times, and at that point you've now maxed out your shiny hunting odds. And you can pretty much just run back and forth and keep, using the radar without having to worry about running into any more patches of grass. What's really cool about it is once you've maxed this out and you do encounter a shiny, you'll see the shiny sparkles show up on top of the patch of grass before you even run into it. It sounds pretty easy on paper, but it can be really frustrating when you break a long chain. Like other shiny hunting methods, if it wasn't challenging, it wouldn't be rewarding. The first legendary on the list, we have number 3, Moltres. Now, I don't really have particularly good luck with shiny legendaries in Pokemon Go, and Moltres is definitely a good example of that. When Moltres first came out, I did about 30 raids on its raid day without getting a single shiny. And even when they brought it back, it still took me a lot of tries to finally get this one, which luckily happened to be a 96. Now, there is a bit of a story behind the actual raid where I caught this. I was supposed to pick up my girlfriend from the airport, and I had attempted to do the raid with just myself and my much lower level second account. I had failed the raid by just a split second, and my girlfriend texted me and told me that she landed about 10 minutes early. So, against my better judgment, I kept doing the raid, said I was already on my way, which I wasn't, and then, ended up getting the shiny on my main account, which is great. So, took a little bit of stress, took a little bit extra effort, but happy to finally have one. Continuing with the theme of shiny legendaries, next up we have everyone's favorite science experiment, Mewtwo. Mewtwo was the first Pokemon I used soft resetting as a technique to shiny hunt, which is basically when you save your game and reset every single time it's not shiny. So as you can see here, boom! After the cutscene with the purple Mewtwo, you get a green one. While soft resetting does seem easy on paper, it's notorious for taking a very long time. I got very lucky on this one. It only took about 90 minutes, but you hear a lot of stories about people going days, weeks, months, sometimes even years hunting for the same thing. While I'll do more soft reset hunts in the future, let's just hope I didn't use up all my luck on Mewtwo. The number 2 favorite shiny Pokemon in my collection goes to Magikarp and or Gyarados. Now, Magikarp was the first shiny released in Pokemon Go, and it took me about a year to actually find one. In fact, I hunted all over for it. The reason why it took me so long is, not only do I live in the area where there's not a lot of water spawns, but on top of that I just had some really terrible luck. In fact, I think it was about 1,800 encounters before I finally got my shiny Magikarp. Now, the one I did find doesn't really have a very interesting story behind it. I did find it on the same day that I got a shiny Shellder. I mean, obviously I was a lot happier about the Magikarp having hunted it for a full year. But I did want to talk about one of the more extreme hunts I did where I came up empty-handed. Now, one reason why it was so annoying to hunt this thing was that I didn't live near any water spawns. It just so happened that a lot of times when I did travel though, I would find really good spots to hunt Magikarps. Now, last winter, I happened to be in New York, and I figured out that one of the largest nests in the area, this Fort Tryon Park over here, happened to be a Magikarp nest. So I took the subway all the way up to basically Washington Heights. I popped out by the exit over there, and then I would just cut through this garden, It took a little bit of time to go through this really windy path, and then I would go over to the road on the right there. Sometimes there was cars on there too, which is kind of annoying. And then you would just do a loop around the cafe, rinse, wash, repeat. So I walked this route 2 days in a row in the dead of winter. It was extremely cold both days, and it amounted to 32 miles of walking and about 200 flights of stairs. There was a lot of hills, and boy was I tired. Out of all the shinies I've ever caught, there's always one story that stands out to me as, wow, I cannot believe that actually happened. And that's with Makuhita, and also with Soblu over here. Now what was happening is I was on vacation in Puerto Vallarta, Mexico, and I was dead set on getting a shiny souvenir to take home. Now when I travel, I try not to play too much Pokemon Go, but I'm always going to be checking whenever I can for shinies, because it's great to just have a little bit of a memory to take back with you when you head back home. Now, I've found shinies while traveling before. Usually it's at the hotel, sometimes it's when you're out to eat, but this Makuhita was the most insane thing ever. I was on a snorkeling trip in the middle of the Pacific Ocean, riding on a speedboat to like a little remote island. I figured this was a great time to drop an incense, so I fired one up, caught a couple things, and saw a Makuhita on my screen, thinking to myself, no way this would possibly be shiny. And yep, right there in the middle of the ocean, found a shiny Makuhita. What makes it even crazier is that shortly thereafter, when we're in the Uber on the way back to the hotel, the first thing I click on is a Swablu, and that was shiny too. I really couldn't believe my luck that day. It was all around a fun day, but that was just the cherry on top. Anyways, that's all I've got for today. Thanks so much for watching the video. Hope you enjoyed it. And you can tell me some of your favorite shiny stories in the comments. You can subscribe if you're interested in seeing more of my videos and checking out my streams. But besides that, Florio, signing out.